breaking into the business is difficult no matter what part of the business you're trying to break into. So I'll give you a little early agent anecdote. Um, I was hired by a small agency that did not have a lit department when I left ICM,
Okay.
and they hired me, a total unknown in the agency world, to help them build a lit department. So now my task is to go out into the community and introduce myself and introduce the agency. And of course, the business being what it is, who's going to give a shit about me or
Yeah.
the company I work for? So 3 days a week, I would go out to each time to a different studio and just walk around and knock on doors and meet producers and executives and whatever. But I didn't have a drive on, didn't have an appointment, so I didn't have a drive on,
Oh,
so I couldn't get on the lot. So most of my contemporaries would drive up to the gate of a studio and they'd say, I'm from such and such agency.
yeah.
Well, you're not on the list here. And they'd start yelling and screaming and saying, don't you know who I am? Don't you know I work at William Morris or whatever? How dare you not let me on? And I thought to myself, who did they let on the lot without question? They let messengers on the lot. So every time I wanted to go out to the studio, I would put a script in an envelope and I'd have it sitting on my seat next to me in the car with some executive's name on it. And I would drive up to the gate and I'd say, I've got a delivery for Milt Hammerman in the tower at Universal. And they'd say, okay, go right over there. And wave,
That
and they
is,
give me, I wouldn't even have to go to the parking lot. They waved me over to some spot next to a soundstage. And
oh
I'd
my
park the car and
God.
I'd spend the next 3 hours on the lot.
That is so brilliant. I love that. I don't know if you I don't know if you can get away with that nowadays, but I think
No,
that is awesome.
it's much stricter now. But the other thing I used to do in the old days when security was not an outside security company, but they were the guards were guys that had worked there for 25 years and they owned the gate, literally. Every Christmas, I would drive from studio to studio and I would give each gate guard a bottle of whiskey and a card, Christmas card.
Yeah.
If you don't think that made it easier for me to get on a lot, you know. So
Yeah.
I mean, you
That's
gotta, it's a people business. You gotta be creative. You gotta be creative not only in how you write, but in how you sell yourself and market yourself.
I think I absolutely I think I agree you have to be creative. I can't endorse bribery or
I
any kinds
absolutely.
of B&E, but
Uh,
I
well,
think
if
you're
you
right.
don't endorse it, then I will.
I actually knew again. I'm not saying to do this, but I knew a guy that would read the trades and see who was having what big parties, and then he would call up the producers the next day that were at those parties and say, "Hey, you remember we were at that party last night, and you wanted to read my script, so here's the synopsis," and he would get read that way. And it's savvy. Again, I can't endorse that you do that, but you got to be creative.